Steve Erceg, who returns to action next Saturday at UFC 295. Steve, how are you?
Doing very well, thank you.
Awesome, man. You're about a week out. How you feeling?
Yeah, I feel fine. Adjusting. So I'm in New York at the moment, so adjusting to the time and all that sort of stuff. Get some training sessions in. So yeah, just floating along.
When did you travel?
We got here on Tuesday.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Awesome. And I guess just like, obviously it's a long travel. It takes your body to get some adjusting to. So like how long does it take you to adjust fully to America time?
So this time, as far as sleep pattern goes, um, first night for whatever reason, obviously even though you're sleeping at the right time, you still get tired and you don't feel quite right. But yeah, I was surprised how fast I adjusted to the actual time zone because last time we never got adjusted. We're waking up at 3 a.m. every day. So this is a nice change.
Awesome. So it's going to be actually nice to be adjusted to the time.
Yeah. I imagine it'll make absolutely no difference to the fight. But yeah, it's nice for just throughout the day living.
Awesome, man. Well, I talked to you right after your win in Vancouver, so I just wanted to touch back on that one just real quick. Like now that it's been a few months, man, how did you feel about that performance? And I know that you're usually very critical of yourself.
So the further away I get from the fight, the more uh holes I see in my own game. But that's a good thing because that means I'm obviously getting good enough to realize what my holes are. So obviously I was happy with my performance at the time. I got the win, so I can't be too harsh on myself, but definitely made a lot of improvements and I'm looking to implement those.
How bummed were you that you didn't get to fight on Sydney?
Obviously I was like disappointed. But the way it sort of worked out, this is a much cooler experience. I'll get to fight in Australia again, no doubt. But you don't necessarily get to be on New York um, at Madison Square Garden. So very cool opportunity, very grateful. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you kind of just said it right there, right? Like the UFC is going to go back to Australia at least twice a year for
yeah,
from now forever, right? So, and it's very likely you're going to be on the next Australian card. But how are you? When are you ever going to be on Madison Square Garden for the 30th anniversary card?
exactly. It's a very special moment. So yeah, try to do it justice.
Yeah, absolutely. So, obviously, your first UFC fight, you came in on short notice. Now you're fighting somebody else who's fighting on short notice. I guess how bummed were you that you called out Matt Schnell, you got the fight, everyone was excited about that fight, but when he pulled out, were you disappointed?
Yeah, of course I was disappointed. Having that ranking next to his name, I think it means something to the fans. And as far as like climbing the ranks to the UFC and stuff, it means something too. So that was disappointing, but Costa's very good. So I yeah, honestly think he might be better than Schnell. So it's going to be a tough fight. Go out there, do my thing, and hopefully come away with a victory.
When they offered you the name Alessandro Costa, did you have any idea who he was?
I didn't initially, but once I looked at his fights, I remember seeing him fight Jimmy Flick, and that was a very impressive performance. Yeah.
Was it again just like your UFC debut where you said yes no matter what, and then you went back and checked it out?
Exactly. I didn't. I mean, I wasn't gonna say no. I want to be on this card. Like, I'm not gonna put that in jeopardy. Like, whoever, I don't care.
Now that you've had obviously it's had some time to analyze the guy, how do you feel you match up with him, and how do you like the matchup?
I mean, I think he's a very good fighter. I think I match up well with everybody. Like, obviously, I think I can be the best in the world. So I have to think like that. I think he got obviously his jiu-jitsu's quite high level. His takedown defense is very good, and he's got very powerful hands. But I just think everything I do, I mix it up better, and I think I'll come away with a victory.
I mean, on paper, it's a super fun fight.
Yeah,
And like you said, it's probably a tougher fight than Matt Schnell, even though Matt Schnell is he's always in.
Yes.
You two matching up is kind of like a car crash. So this one seems like it's more like a technical car crash, if anything.
Yeah. Yes.
um,
I agree with that one. It's still going to be chaos, but it'll be a little bit more technical, I imagine.
yeah, absolutely. So I mean, how do you kind of see this fight playing out? Like, obviously, he has the power. You have your striking is getting so much better, and your jujitsu, I mean, it's fun. So, like, do you want to see how good his jujitsu is, or are you just kind of go where the fight goes?
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to be on the feet. I'm going to be on the ground. I'm going to make it a mixed martial arts fight. And I'll find out in that where he's best, where he's not, and I'll fight accordingly.
Gotcha. Well, at the end of the day, November 11th, UFC 295. How do you get your hand raised?
I don't know. I just get it raised. That's all that matters.
I love it. I just kind of, you were on the 30th anniversary card. Just you know, it's taken you a while to get to the UFC. So I guess how special is it to be fighting on this special card?
Oh, it's amazing. Like as I said, I'm super grateful. Not many people get to fight at Madison Square Garden, and especially as early as I've been, like as quickly as I've been in the UFC. So, um, yeah, just pumped. And again, I'm going to try to make sure I'm worthy of the experience.
Obviously the hardcore fans have known how good you are for a long time, but so after your UFC debut, did you feel like did you feel like you got more attention? Like, did you feel like you get like the spotlight was kind of shown on you a little bit more?
For a short period of time, yeah. So, for the first 2 or 3 weeks, it was like everybody's messaging me, "You're amazing," blah blah, just like everything else, things go in waves. So I had this big pickup, and then it's like back to being a normal person. So, I think that's how it always will be, or I hope it will. And I think it's important too. You can't live on a high forever. So.
When you get all these DMs and messages, like, do you kind of have to like set your phone down for a little bit and like check them one by one? Like, do you kind of like scroll through them, like, and like not get overly like, oh my God, like what's going on?
Um, I try to set aside a time during the day to answer the messages, but honestly, there's too many people to get back to. Like everybody, just I get back to the people that I know and that um, mean something to me, and I'll try to get back to others, but I can't get back to everybody.
Gotcha. And then I guess this would be a better question for after next Saturday, but like, looking back on 2023, just how would you kind of like how would you reflect on it?
Um, I'd reflect on obviously super great, amazing learning experience. Finally got to the UFC, which is obviously everybody's that fights goal, so that's amazing. And just yeah, look forward to improving for next year.
Gotcha. Awesome. And then finally, just one last one for me. Obviously there is a flyweight title fight at the end of the year, December. Who do you got in that fight? And what are your thoughts on the matchup?
I honestly don't know who wins that one. It's gonna be a scrappy fight for sure. Both are super tough, both good on the ground, and what's his name, Pantoja. He's surprised because he doesn't look that good on the feet. His ground game's obviously very good, and after the second round against Moreno, he looked exhausted, but he just kept pushing, kept finding ways to get to his position and stuff like that. So, um, if I had to choose, I'd probably say Pantoja, but I don't really know.
I lied. I got one more for you. So like the like top half of the flyweight division, it's like it's very crowded, right? Like you have the title fight right now, but then you have like Brandon Moreno, who's always in the title picture. Then you have Albazi, and they're really rumored to fight. Then you have Manel Kopp, who's like right outside. Then you have Mohammed Mohammed Makai, who's like everyone this new thing. So like, I guess how do you think the flyweight division is going to kind of play out, and like how do you see your path to the top kind of playing out?
So I have thought about it a lot, obviously. I think I don't know who I'm going to fight for the title, who's going to be the champ at the time. I do want to fight Moreno on the way there. I think that would be sick at the Spear on that Mexican Mexican Independence Day or whatever it is.
Yep.
I'd love to fight him on that date in September. That'd be sick. And then I do think at some point I'll be fighting Makayev. I think that's a super interesting fight. He's really good. Yeah, I want to fight the best. So he's one of them. Moran is one of them. And then yeah, see how it goes.
I mean, I've been calling for this fight for like 3-4 years. Astro Boy versus Star Boy for I mean it's got to happen at some point, you know.
Yeah, so yeah, again, if 100% will fight Manel Cape also. Whoever thinks they're tougher than me, we'll find out.
Awesome, Steve. Thank you so much for your time, man. I really appreciate this. If you want to plug your social media, any sponsors, and you want to thank anybody, the floor is all yours.
So sponsors would be far out. Who are my sponsors? Revital Health. There you go. Revital Health. They do all my like recovery stuff. And Anthony. He does all my massage stuff. He's great. Appreciate him. And then obviously my gym, Wilkes Martial Arts, Gladiator Wrestling. Yeah, just all my trainers, all my training partners. Appreciate the time, and we're gonna do it together on fight night.
Make sure to subscribe to the LowKick MMA YouTube channel for all the latest news, event previews, and interviews with some of the biggest stars in MMA.